Welcome in. We are counting down to the Nuggets game on 9 News. The team is in Cleveland tonight.
Yes, they are. The Nuggets taking on the Cavaliers. They're the best team in the NBA right now. We'll have pregame coverage starting at 4:30 right here on 9 News. But before that, the Altitude crew will join us live for the keys to tonight's game. Thanks so much for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. I'm Mark Salinger.
I'm Alexandra Lewis. Tom and Kim are off today. Before we get to the Nuggets, let's get to some of your day's headlines. Developing just this afternoon, a man is facing charges for shooting in at least 3 locations near Coors Field. This started just after 9 o'clock last night around 22nd and Market. Police say the man started shooting around Blake, then he ran towards Market Street where he shot a man who was riding a scooter. That man was shot in the hand. We're not sure of his condition here this evening. The suspect then got inside an apartment building at 21st and Market and pointed a gun at another person who was able to run away. Officers arrested 30-year-old Dennis Armstrong shortly after. Right now, police are still investigating if that shooting was targeted. In national news, there are new developments in the targeted attack of the CEO of United Healthcare.
Yeah, the suspect still not in custody this evening. Today, New York City police released new pictures showing what that suspected shooter looks like without a mask. This is what investigators say he looks like. This is the person that they're wanting to speak with right now. In every other picture and video that we've seen, the shooter was still wearing a mask. Also today, we learned the shell casings left behind had the words deny, defend, and depose written on them. Those are words that seem to echo common tactics used by healthcare industry lawyers to avoid paying claims. Police are also looking into a cell phone that was recovered along the same route where the suspect was seen running off. Brian Thompson's wife said she was aware of threats made to her husband. She did not have many specifics about what those threats exactly entailed. An update out of California about a shooting that we first brought to you as breaking news yesterday at 4 o'clock here on 9 News. 2 kindergarten students are in extremely critical condition after a school shooting in Northern California. Right now, the investigation is looking at if the school's religious affiliation might have somehow motivated the violence, but it's still unclear if this was a hate crime. The suspect took his own life. Authorities say the suspect had an enrollment meeting with the principal just before the shooting began.
Let's get you a live look outside. Another warm day around town. We hope you enjoyed those above average temperatures because by next week, we will be back to winter-like conditions. Let's bring in Kathy Sabin. I like the sound of that.
It's beautiful outside.
I know, but bring me some snow, don't you think?
I've had multiple people ask for snow next week, so
make it feel like winter, yeah.
That's right.
You got it, you guys. Back to you. No, actually, the good news and the bad news. The good news is this warm, dry weather pattern will last through your Friday and your Saturday. The bad news, the sun sets in less than a half an hour. So get out there while you can and soak in the rays and the vitamin D because we really need that. It really does affect your mood when it gets dark so early. It's pretty though. Temperatures have been trending above average for the last 3 days and that trend continues into the weekend ahead of a Pacific storm that will bring cold and snow to the state. We're down to 48 now in Denver, 49 in Fort Collins. Winds are pretty light, but an easterly influence of wind brought in some patchy low clouds and fog early this morning, and that was on the eastern plains. That has since scoured away. That pattern change includes mountain snow as early as Sunday and the potential for snow in Denver on Monday. Right now, a few high clouds in western Colorado, but that dome of high pressure keeping the storm track to the north of us. So really a beautiful evening for you, a nice looking Friday coming up. And you know what? We're going to see a big drop in temperature in our extended forecast. This evening, beautiful, not bad at all. Coming up, the extended outlook in detail, including the Parade of Lights forecast and your weekend outlook. That's coming up.
Kathy, thank you. Well, it's that festive time of the year as everyone comes together to celebrate the holidays. Illnesses also increase. Sometimes it could just be more than just the flu or cold.
In fact, doctors say walking pneumonia cases are staying pretty high. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause is joining us now. Rachel, what did you learn?
Yeah, walking pneumonia has been spreading among kids here in Colorado for months, and doctors say it's going to stick around into the new year.
The holidays are approaching, and with it, bringing a less festive season.
We are just really heading into respiratory illness season here.
While flu and RSV are just starting to spread, Dr. Kevin Messakar with Children's Hospital Colorado says plenty of kids are already catching walking pneumonia or mycoplasma pneumonia.
We're seeing several-fold increase compared to what we typically would.
Messakar says this surge started months ago, but walking pneumonia hasn't showed its face in years.
That's something that hasn't been around since the pandemic, so we were predicting and waiting for its reemergence. It started to show up throughout the country in the spring, and then in Colorado in the summer to fall, we started to see cases that peaked in September and are now starting to come down, but still seeing significant amounts of walking pneumonia in the community.
All ages can be affected.
Dr. Sarah Rowan with Denver Health says this surge stretches beyond Colorado.
The CDC reported recently that they have seen a big increase in walking pneumonia, specifically from mycoplasma, and that somewhat atypically, that a higher proportion of those cases are in younger children.
Typically, this mostly impacts school-age kids, but Messakar says this season it's spreading into 2 to 5-year-olds, far younger than they've seen. While it's unlikely to land kids in the hospital, the symptoms linger in the lungs.
They just have a hacking, nagging, persistent cough that can last weeks.
Grim symptoms that Messakar says are likely to keep on spreading right into the new year.
This can kind of take weeks to pass through various members of a family, of a classroom. And as we're seeing with the outbreak that really started late this summer, and we expect it to go all the way into next year, it's really kind of a slower outbreak that's been going on for some time, and we expect to continue for some time.
Just like with COVID and pretty much any other respiratory illness, it's hand washing and covering up those coughs and sneezes that can help to prevent transmission. Doctors say most cases of walking pneumonia aren't severe, but if your kiddo has a persistent fever, cough, or trouble breathing, check in with their doctor for help. Rachel Krause, 9 News.
All good information. Rachel, thank you. We're continuing to follow next steps for policing in Morrison. Last night, we learned that the town's police department will be dissolved at the end of the month. The town's police chief has been on leave since last month, pending an investigation. The town won't say why. Tonight, 9 News Investigates is diving deeper into what happens next and reaction following the decision. You can see that story tonight on 9 News Plus at 5 o'clock.